Hi, this video is to help you build the skill in solving exponential equations and also in writing exponential equations based on a situation. So the situation we have here is that last year you bought a baseball card. It's now worth $12, so that is a really fancy baseball card. The value is increasing exponentially because it's so hot. Everybody wants this thing. So in 5 years, it's going to be worth $50. So you have some information there. It's how do we distill that information so that we can write an equation that will be useful in helping us model this kind of situation mathematically. So I know that you bought it last year, and so 1 year has gone by and it's worth $12. So I would set up a point like that. 1 year has gone by and it's worth $12. So I'm going to let X be years and Y be dollars. And at 5 years from now, it's going to be worth $50. And then the other thing I'm going to keep in mind is anytime something is increasing exponentially, it has an equation that looks like y equals a times b to the x. And what you do with this, there's lots of different ways to come up with this equation. You have a couple points, you have a general equation. I think the way that I usually like to think about it is I think about the xy chart and what that looks like. When x is 0, I'm not sure what y is, but when x is 1, I know y is 12. When x is 2, I don't know. 3 or 4, I don't know. But when x is 5, I know that y is 50. So when I'm looking at this, I know that exponentially means I'm multiplying by something each time to get the next value. And so what's happening is I would take 12 times b times another b times another b, and I'd end up with 50. So I think about the equation 12 times b to the 4th equals 50, and that's how I go ahead and get my b value. So the first thing I would do is I would divide 50 by 12. So that's 4 and a 6th. And so now I know my b value. So y equals, I still don't know a, but I know b is 4 and a 6th. So that part of my equation I can write. Now to find out what the a value is, remember that's just the 0th term. I could either back up and go ahead and take 12 and divide it by 4 and a 6th, which is going to be around 3 or something like that. And I could find it that way. Or another method that I could use, and there's a lot of ways to do this, but I could have just used 12 for my a value and then offset the x by 1. So some of you are doing that, and that's fine too. So now what I'm going to do is it says, how much did I originally pay? Well, the original amount that I paid is whatever I get when I take 12 and I divide it by 4 and a 6th. And we could probably do that. I don't have a calculator with me, but I'll say 12 times, because 4 and 1/6 is 25 over 4. So 48 over 25, but that's like 2, well, almost 2 it's going to be. This is where having a calculator sure would come in handy. So it's going to be 1 and 23/25. So as a dollar amount, I'm going to guess that's around $1.97. It's going to be pretty close to $2. So then it asks, when is this thing going to be worth $1,000? Well, that's a good question. $1,000 equals, and you can use whichever equation you want. Use this one. And the question is how to solve that. Now we're talking about logarithms. So the first thing that you'd have to do is you'd have to go through and you'd have to divide both sides by 12. So I guess now I'm going to have to finally pull out my calculator here. and divide both sides by 12. And when I do that, 1,000 divided by 12, I get 83 and a third equals 4 and 1/6 to the x minus 1. Now the problem is that the x is up in the exponent spot, and so I have to log both sides. Take the log of both sides because that'll bring this down in front. So when I take the log of 83.3, I get about 1.92. And now I have x minus 1 down here times the log of 4 and 1/6. And when I take the log of 4 and 1/6, I get around 0.6198. And so now I'm just going to go ahead and solve it because I no longer have anything tricky in there for x. So 1.92 divided by 0.6198 is about 3.1, and then add 1 to both sides. So I would say about 4 years from now. Okay, so if you're having trouble with those, make sure you keep practicing. Good luck.